With it being in the news that some players are upset about needing to create a new character for Season 1 and not being ready for another 100 level grind, I figured I would make this suggestion. Save your battle pass for another season, for when you are ready. According to Adam Fletcher, the Global Community Development Director for Diablo IV and Blizzard, he states, UE comes with one accelerated BP for Season 1. Technically, you can use it for a different season instead of the first if you prefer. The UE is the Ultimate Edition, BP is the Battle Pass. But the Premium Battle Pass should work the same way. The Battle Pass, according to at least one media outlet, link in the description, is also retroactive. This means you can start the season on the free Battle Pass, and if you're enjoying it and have made progress, activate the paid Battle Pass, and any progress you've already made will apply retroactively. Blizzard could change how this works at any time, but this is the most up-to-date information at the time of recording. So if you want to finish your grind on your current character, don't have time for this season, or still need to finish the campaign, which you must complete to access the seasonal content, save your premium pass for another season, or try the free version of the season before you activate your pass. I hope this video helps you get more value out of the game and features you have already paid for, and if it did, click that thumbs up button.